Often when you think of pirates, you picture swashbucklers like Captain Jack Sparrow, Blackbeard, and Captain Kidd, who sailed the ocean plundering ships. Jack Sparrow was a legendary pirate of the seven seas and the irreverent trickster of the Caribbean, as most of us know. Blackbeard was the most noted pirate in America and certainly the most vicious, and perhaps most famous for his legendary blockade of Charleston Harbor, South Carolina. But oceans aren't the only place pirates can be found. As the western frontier opened up, river pirates posed a serious threat to settlers moving westward down the Ohio River, lying in wait ready to relieve them of their valuable cargo. Pirates on the Ohio River? For real? That's right, pirates. These were violent and calculating river pirates, and they ruled the Ohio and Mississippi rivers in the early part of the 19th century. Following the Revolutionary War, many pirates lived near sparsely populated frontier settlements, preying on settlers, heading downriver in slow-moving keelboats. In the late 1700s and early 1800s, packing a flatboat in Pennsylvania and floating down the river was the quickest route to the western frontier. Historians say the Ohio River at that time was like an interstate highway with thousands of boats. They estimate that between 1785 and 1805, river pirates killed more than 2,000 people. River barges were easy targets. They were usually only powered by river current and a guy with a stick, and were prone to getting stuck for long periods of time, so no one noticed if they were missing or delayed. They were essentially floating malls for the pirates. The average flatboat was 40 to 70 feet long and 12 to 15 feet wide. The deck had a log cabin with room for wagons and livestock. 2 oars were attached on the front and back of the boat. Commercial flatboats were loaded with valuables or goods to trade on the river. Flatboats traveled around 3 to 4 miles an hour and could carry up to $3,000 worth of goods, making them an easy target for river pirates to plunder. While the waves of pioneers floated down the river, bandits and ruffians lined the banks, waiting to pounce on unsuspecting victims, giving the Ohio River the nickname, the Bloody River. The river pirates' methods involved posting 1 or 2 people at a prominent place on the bank. They would shout for help. Because passers-by would see these people were lost and underdressed and unprepared for the wilds, they would stop and try to help them. Once they reached these decoys, a gang of men would hop on board, robbing and often murdering the crew. From 1790 to 1834, Cave-In Rock was a principal outlaw den and headquarters of river pirate activity in the Ohio region. Situated near the meeting point of the Ohio and Mississippi rivers in southern Illinois, Cave-In Rock provided pirates with shelter and natural concealment from unsuspecting settlers and law enforcement as they pillaged and plundered unwary travelers. Pirates used the cave as a sort of hangout and hideout as well, where people could scheme, gamble, drink, and even kill others. People are said to have been forced off the cliff above the cave to their death. Many well-known river pirates, including Samuel Mason and the murderous Hart brothers, operated in this area. Today, the cave sits empty in Cave-In Rock State Park, where visitors can still explore the space and kick back in the style of a bloodthirsty pirate. Mason was arguably the most famous Ohio river pirate. After he fought for freedom in the Revolutionary War, he moved to the territory that would become Kentucky and started the Mason Gang of Pirates. They robbed, murdered, pillaged, and generally terrorized the Ohio River. At Cave-In Rock, Mason and his men would warmly welcome riverboat travelers to rest and eat. However, while these visitors enjoyed the hospitality, Mason's men checked their supplies and goods for anything of value. If they found something, they would wait until the next day, and when the visitors continued, would rob them as they made their way around the bend of the river. Referred to as America's first serial killers, the Hart brothers were a famous pirate clan led by 2 cousins that were murderers, highwaymen and river pirates who operated in Tennessee, Kentucky, Illinois, and Mississippi in the late 18th century. Micaiah Big Harp was born as Joshua Harper, and Wiley Little Harp was born as William Harper. They claimed at least 40 murders between them. When Mason, who we just talked about, was killed in a skirmish with law enforcement, the Hart brothers tried to collect the reward on his head by literally showing up with his head in hand. The decline of American river piracy occurred over time, starting as early as 1804 and ending by the 1840s as a result of direct military action taken and the combined strength of local law enforcement and the vigilante groups that uprooted and swept out pockets of outlaw resistance. To combat the pirate menace, flatboats also began traveling in small flotillas, often with an armed keelboat as an escort to fend off potential attackers. In the mid-1800s, the cave was even used as a church, while the small village that would come to be Cave-in Rock was established nearby. If you would like to read more about this time period, The Dark River tells a fascinating and not well-known story of an age of the western frontier. Social pressures spurred on by rapid western expansion and years of warfare became the breeding ground for violence. This atmosphere brought about the creation of a unique type of person, those who would use the Ohio River to prey on their fellow man. Dark River will take you on a pleasant boat ride down the Ohio River. Unlike many who made the journey, you will reach the end alive. We hope you've enjoyed this brief look at the pirates of the Ohio River. They are not as famous as the Pirates of the Caribbean, but are an interesting part of our Ohio history.